Oh, whatever. Let's just get started. Okay. Welcome to another episode of the Base Marriage Podcast. I am Matthew Seba, your host. Did you read about this in The Pillar? Yeti blood oath divides Denver seminary. A well-intended moment. It clearly went badly wrong, and it never should have happened. By Ed Condon. There was a seminary in retreat. Apologize to the Archbishop, blah, 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 blah. All right, in January 2024, there was a Father Nepil, who took some 15 seminarians on a ski trip to a house in the mountains in the Crested Butte area, in a house belonging to a Catholic family close to Father Nepil, according to several clergy familiar with the events. In the middle of the night, the seminarians were woken and told to sit in silence in the living room before being invited individually into a trailer on the house's grounds. When they entered the trailer, the seminarians were met by Father Nepil, who can be seen in the video, setting up a camera to record the occasion, along with senior seminarian and participant on the trip, and a person dressed in a Yeti costume. That's funny. Each seminarian was then invited to sit at a table on which there was a dagger and what appeared to be blood and a dollar bill on the piece of paper. In one video of the ritual seen by The Pillar, the seminarian asked if he has any idea what's going to happen. The seminarian responds, "No. You're about to enter into a sacred tradition," he is told. "Are you ready for it?" The seminarian is also informed that the people who come up here, and not everyone, makes it enter into the tradition. The way it works, the only way you can enter into this family is you got to make a blood oath, he is told in the video. While it is explained that the group started with another seminarian whom they knew would have the balls to go through with the initiation. We're hoping you have them too. If you enter into this family, there's no going back, the seminarian is informed. Now, it's not pretty, as you can see, the seminarian is told, seated in front of the bloody surface and knife. If there is enough courage in there, we can get through it. At this point, the seminarian nods his assent, and the priest can be seen leaning into the camera shot holding the dagger as the seminarian bares his left arm and places it on the table. "This is going to hurt for a second. Ready?" Father Nepil says before counting down from 3, at which point a voice says, "Stop! There's another option." The seminarian is told, "You've already shown your bravery. The ritual can be completed with bear blood." So he's told to pour the grizzly bear blood. It's probably K-Rose syrup and food coloring. But he's told there's no going back, and he's asked to scream like a grisly, horrible scream, like he's actually being cut, to show commitment to this tradition. Anyways, he goes out there. He's told to show the other seminarians or to let them see that he has this blood, but don't tell them what's going on. Let's see. Other images seen show the seminarians seated on the sofa with their mouths taped closed. The Pillar has decided not to publish the video or other images of the seminarians involved out of respect for their privacy. Okay, fair enough. Anyways, that seems to be about it. And it seems that the people at the diocese lost their collective shit over it. This is one instance. Another such instance is, do you remember that priest who was traveling around with the relics? I saw him here in Tyler. He had the arm bone of St. Jude. And he got in a lot of trouble because he made a joke about somebody not having hair. He didn't have hair himself, which makes the joke funnier. But he got in trouble for this too. Guys, what the hell is going on here? It's like the world, especially the Catholic world, is only allowed to operate to the tolerance of the most sensitive Karen. Like, okay, this ritual, I think this is hilarious. Men like rituals. Did you know we used to have all kinds of rituals? Men had men's groups, men had rituals. Now any tiny little inkling that there's a men's group or a men's ritual somewhere, and it has to be shut down. Primarily, I blame Antonin Scalia for this. I've talked about this before, but that, you know what, ruined it for so many. It was, the case was Rotary International versus Rotary. The case was about Rotary International versus one of the local Rotary chapters. Was it Dubuque or something? I don't know. Anyways, it was a Rotary International group, and there was somebody suing to allow women in, and he ruled, yeah, you can let women in. That was like 1987. Yeah, you have to let women in, even though you don't want to. And then it just exploded. Basically, all of those groups, all of these like civic and fraternal groups that exist, networking groups, including Rotary International and Augusta Country Club and a whole bunch of others, they were men's only spaces, period. It was Boy Scouts of America. Now it's been gutted and made Girl Scouts of America or Scouting International or whatever. It's like it's like every area where men were allowed to collect and have their own organizations, work together, be around each other in public, and all of that had to be destroyed. It's like a beaver. A beaver can't stand the sound of running water, and so it does absolutely everything it can to make that sound of running water stop. That has been what women and feminist men have been like over the last 60 years. I can hear the sound of men being alone without women and having fun and merriment. We need to go and destroy it. And it seems like that's everywhere. This is a completely harmless event in the diocese, in the seminary. I mean, these are young men. They're going to become priests, and this older priest, and it's kind of a fun thing. But they leave there going, man, that was awesome. We can't tell anybody, but next year the other guys are going to go, and they're going to go through this, and that's going to be cool too. It's a fun ritual. It's a fraternal event. But somebody at the diocese in Denver, I don't know who it is, but I suspect it has something to do with, it's the same kind of people as who are in other dioceses, like Diocese of Tyler, that when they hear that kind of fun, when they hear something that might upset somebody, they have to destroy it. When it's something that they weren't invited to as kids because they were the hall monitor types. You know the hall monitor types who would rather go and be the kiss ass for the teacher and wear the special vest and all of that and bitch out all of his friends who were running down the hallway. He's a little narc. That's what we used to call him back in the 90s. We called him narcs. But these narcs at the diocese, they can't handle the idea that somebody else is having fun without them because for most of their lives, the other boys had fun without them. Now, I'm not going to go into what I think is the cause of that, but I think you could probably figure out what is the cause of that. Anyways, you've got that, and then you've got women who are feminists who maybe they're choosing to be feminists and maybe they're not, but they have absolutely no idea what a boy is, what a man is, and that boys and men ought to be allowed. Not allowed. They ought to be doing these things. And boys and men stop asking to be allowed to do these things. We shouldn't be asking permission from women to go and do these things. I talked to a guy a couple of weeks ago, and he was out with his Catholic buddies, and they were going, I don't know, they were going out for barbecue, or they were going to play golf, or going surfing or something. I can't remember what they were doing. Anyways, they were all kind of there because maybe they were at a barbecue. Anyways, the other guys asked their wives, hey, are you okay if I go play golf? Or are you okay if can I go surfing with the rest of the guys? And they went around and asked permission from their wives if they could do this thing. And the guy I was talking to, bravo for him, he's like, hey, I'm going to go surfing. I'll see you later. And just took off. Good, because our job is not to ask permission from our wives if we can go do something. He can look at his wife and see, yeah, I know she can handle this. No big deal. I'm going surfing. You don't have to ask permission. We don't have to ask permission to do these sorts of rituals, these sorts of clubs. Well, it's not the place and the time. Yeah, it is. A seminary? Do you want all of the seminarians to just be pious little hall monitors and wimps? The culture of priests sucks right now in the United States. It sucks. It's awful. It's not, they came by it honestly. Because anybody that's got any kind of fun and guts, and I don't mean fun that isn't going to upset Karen. I mean that live a little bit. They're not doing anything sinful. There's nothing sinful about this Yeti blood oath, whatever. Nobody's salvation is in jeopardy by doing this. But some Karen doesn't understand it. So she got upset. Oh my gosh, I can't believe they did this. I can't believe they did this. And then whoever it is at the chancery is going, oh my gosh, I always take care of the women. I make sure the women are never upset about anything because they can't stand up to women. That's why they work in the chancery. chanceries are very often just run by women. They can't stand up to women. They spent their whole lives trying to please mommy. Mommy telling them what to do. Mommy being very dominant. And so they were very good yes men. Oh, yes, mommy, whatever you want. And so they show up at the diocese and they get jobs at the diocese because they're really good yes men. And then they see other men who are doing things that are fun, that are masculine. Ritual is masculine. Hello, the entire priesthood is ritual. The entire priesthood is men only. Ritual. Military ritual. That was another thing they destroyed, adding women to the military. We're sacrificing more men in the world in combat so that women can serve. And yes, that's the thing that happens. There are more casualties in the men and women, the co-ed units, than there are in men-only units. So we tolerate more deaths, more of our sons, brothers, fathers, so that women can go serve. We pay that extra price when we don't have to. And then all the women who get hurt because their bodies aren't made for this, or all the women who decide to go get pregnant when the rubber finally meets the road and they have to get shipped off somewhere, so they get pregnant so they don't have to be anywhere near deployment. They ruin it. We had rituals. I was in the Boy Scouts of America. We had the Order of the Arrow. We had snipe hunting. It's not hazing. Nobody's getting injured, but it was fun. You know, and then we do it to the people the next time. I mean, you're the butt of the joke the first year, and then the next year you get to do it to the others, or you get to see that the others were the victims of it, and then the next year, and it's this camaraderie sort of experience. I don't know if you've ever been to snipe hunting. Those of you who weren't in Boy Scouts probably don't know what it is. Women especially, but most women will just go, "Oh, that's so stupid," or "Oh, that poor boy," stuff like that. This is part of growing up. Snipe hunting. Okay, so we went to a camp out. It's a camporee. There are, I don't know, hundreds of other scouts there in their different troops. So the scoutmaster says, okay, everybody, we're going snipe hunting. Everybody grab a trash bag and a stick. And so we all have a trash bag and a stick, and we have no idea what the hell we're doing, okay? It's like these 10 and 11-year-old boys walking around with a black trash bag and a stick. And he parades you down the main street of the camporee. Everybody else knows what's about to happen. And so we're all singing a song. I don't even remember what we're singing. We're singing a song thinking this is going to be great. And he goes, all right, you get down on the ground and you take your stick and you knock it on the ground. Like, he takes us out to a field out in the middle of nowhere. Okay. No lights, no other camps, whatever. It's not that far. But he's like, you take your stick and you bang it on the ground and you say, snipe, 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 snipe. And when the snipe comes, you take your stick and you whack it in the head and smack it into your bag, and you grab him and you tie him up. And we're like, okay, yeah, great. And nobody's asking what's a snipe. Nobody has any idea what's a snipe. I think we all thought that it was like some kind of small mammal or something. We had no idea. So they give you like just enough information to kind of get the idea, but you have no idea what you're looking for. And so everybody's on the ground going, snipe, snipe, snipe. And while we're doing that, the scoutmaster takes off and goes back to camp. And he's sitting there with his coffee or whatever, because this guy drank coffee all the time. But he's sitting there at the campfire, lounging in his chair. Eventually, one of the boys looks up and turns around and realizes there's no scoutmaster. He's gone. What? And then usually it just happens, hey, they left us. And then they start running, and they don't collect all the boys. It's just the ones who figured it out, figured out that there's no scoutmaster there, took off running. So if you're a witness of this, you're in your camp and you just hear a whole bunch of boys, probably between 10 and 15 boys, yelling and screaming, ah, because they're a little bit afraid of the dark, but they're all friends. They're all together. And it's a safe thing. Nobody's getting hurt. It's not like we're out in bear country or something. So they're all screaming, ah, as boys do when they're running in groups. And they get back to the camp, and the scoutmaster is just sitting there with this big grin on his face. Did you catch any snipe? No, we didn't catch any snipe. Well, why not? Why'd you come back? He doesn't tell us to go back out, but it was a fun thing. And then they never tell you what a snipe is. Or at least ours didn't. But then the next year at the camporee, we were all looking for the new kids going, oh, they're going to do snipe hunting tonight. They're going to do snipe hunting tonight. And then sure enough, at the camporee, they would take the new kids out and go snipe hunting. And then the next year after that. So that was something that we looked forward to at the camporee because it was kind of this inside joke. It was fun. It was a good time. Yeah, you get a little scared and you get back to camp and everything's going to be okay. But you got to be part of the group. You got to be in on what the older boys knew, and it was fun. And there's a similar thing with the Order of the Arrow. I got tapped, but I never followed through with it because I found girls in cars, which is the kryptonite for most Boy Scouts. Order of the Arrow, you've got this giant, and this isn't secret, this is what all the boys go to at Order of the Arrow. I don't even know if they have that anymore because they have girls in it and completely destroyed the organization. So they probably got rid of it. But Order of the Arrow, at the camporee, same event. There were, 200 or 300 Boy Scouts, and they're all sitting in a semicircle, and there are a bunch of multiple bonfires. I think there were 3, what I can remember. And you've got these boys, the older scouts who are already in Order of the Arrow, and they're dressed like Indians. One's got a big headdress, they've got the feathers, they've got their shirts off, so they're just in their Boy Scout pants or shorts. And they've got war paint on them and everything. And so when everybody walks up at the camporee, they're just standing there with their arms crossed like this, dead silent in their particular places. And this is an important ritual. So everybody walks in, you sit in a semicircle, and he goes through this script about the importance of the Order of the Arrow. They don't let you talk. If some scouts are sitting there whispering to each other, then the leader will go, "Shut up! No talking!" Like, it's an important thing. You are demanded of to act a certain way, to be good, to be attentive, to be respectful, and not interrupt the ceremony. That's an important thing. And boys are tough enough to be able to handle, "Shut up! No talking!" Come on, they can handle this stuff. I can't believe they do such a thing. They shouldn't. Well, they could try to find a different way to handle that. They don't need to yell, "Shut up." I mean, they could go have somebody go around and say, "Shh, will you please be quiet?" Come on. This is what's missing. This is why girls walk around going, "Where are all the men?" It's because we weren't allowed to yell, "Shut up" at them anymore. It's because we don't have ritual. It's because you didn't allow men to be men. You destroyed everything. Now the little boys' sports teams have girls on them. Now the Boy Scouts of America doesn't even have Boy Scouts in it anymore. They lost, 30% of their membership from the Mormons because they let girls and homosexuals into their group? Like, they destroyed the concept of boyhood and masculinity. Anyways, so you're at the Order of the Arrow, and certain scouts are already picked by their scoutmasters to become members of the Order of the Arrow. There's a special signal that they show those masters of ceremonies at the Order of the Arrow, which scouts those are that are to be tapped. And basically, you got 2 or 3 of these guys, and they walk around to different people, different young scouts in the ceremony. And he goes, "You," and you stand up, and he taps you on the shoulder, grabs you, and he kind of shoves you over to the next guy, and then he does a similar thing and then pushes you, tells you stay right there, and then they move to the next one, same thing, or they tell you go over there to the middle of the bonfires. I mean, you're not next to the bonfires, you're 15 feet away or whatever, but they have you standing up in front of everybody. So they go through the whole thing. They've got this war drum, if I remember correctly. That could be my imagination. It's been some years, 30 years or so since I've done this. But they go around and you get tapped out. And then you go stand in the middle, and then they make everybody else leave. And then they tell you about Order of the Arrow, and then you walk back. You're not allowed to talk for the rest of the night. I remember they took our flashlights and made us walk back to camp without flashlights, or maybe they just told us not to or something. I don't know. Like I said, this was 30 years ago. And I didn't continue on through the Order of the Arrow or through Boy Scouts beyond 16 years old. But this is a ritual. This is an important thing. And nowadays, the Karens could not fathom the idea of having a 14-year-old walk back in the dark without a flashlight or by himself or anything like that. This is what needs to be done more often. We need these kinds of men and boys rituals where they're initiated into a certain rite of passage. And it's not only the one rite of passage from boyhood into adulthood, but it's also rites of passage into a club. And now it's not this is part of your holy orders, but there are other things that you can have that are an initiation. Like, hey, you're initiated into the seminarians of the Diocese of Denver. It's an informal thing. It's not the diocese putting it on. It's this priest. And it's a way of connecting, of bonding, of having this sort of story, of having this ritual. And then next year at the seminarian retreat, when they all come back, the older boys are like, hey, did you get initiated? And they're like, yeah, I got initiated. It's just a ritual. It's a connection with others. It's a connection with other boys, with other men. You feel like you're part of a group because we are created to be tribal. I'm ashamed of the Diocese of Denver. I'm ashamed of these priests, of these women, of these administrators of the church, absolutely doing everything they can to destroy boyhood and manhood. I'm ashamed of it. I'm ashamed of that I belong to this organization. I love the Catholic Church. I love Holy Mother Church. I am ashamed that it's been taken over by women and the effeminate who have absolutely no idea what a boy is or what a man is. And they've sucked all of the joy out of being boys and men. And anywhere that boys and men try to have fun or do anything that upsets a Karen, the females of both sexes, anything that exists like that in the church has to be squashed out. Oh no, that's a liability. Oh no, that's something outside of the norm. Oh no, somebody could feel left out. Oh no, it just doesn't look right. Tell me what was wrong with the Yeti event. What was actually wrong? There's no sin involved. It's not an actual secret society where they're trying to overthrow the church. Maybe it's just that the Freemasons don't like competition. That could be it. They see the Yeti blood oath as a threat to their dominance in the church. Or the Lavender Mafia, the Pink Mafia. They don't like competition. Maybe that's it. But anywhere that exists in the church and it's shut down. Oh, we can't have that event on the church. We can't even make it an official organizational event because of liability and all the rest. You know, whoever it was that started suing the tar out of organizations and made them have this ridiculous liability policy, like, we're not allowed to even live as boys and men. We can't be boys and men. We have to do everything tame. The best we get is sit around at a men's Bible study. Those are boring as hell. Like, that's it. That's not manhood. Oh, well, we go to men's Bible study once a week. That's all the church has to offer, because anything more strenuous than that is a liability. Or somebody won't like it, or some Karen is going to complain about it. And most priests, especially those in places of administration, have absolutely zero ability to tell a Karen to pound sand. Well, you don't have to like it. You also don't have to work here. Bye. Yeah, I hear. Yeah, okay, fair enough. These are boys. These are men. We're going to let them do what they're doing. They're not hurting anybody. They're having a good time. This is what boys and men long for. This is what we were created to do. Men were created for ritual. We were created to conduct ritual, to participate in ritual. And I'm ashamed to be part of an organization with a hierarchy that acts like this. I love the church. I hate the administration. Absolutely hate it. You know, I remember years ago, this was probably 10, 12 years ago. I remember seeing Bishop Strickland went to World Youth Day. I love Bishop Strickland. He's great. I saw Bishop Strickland went to World Youth Day or something, and he had a push-up contest with another kid. And I thought that was the coolest thing. I don't know, he got to 40 or 50 push-ups. For a bishop, that's fantastic, because most of them, their bellies are so big that when they try to do a push-up, their belly never gets off the ground. But Bishop Strickland did a push-up contest. That was so out of the ordinary that a bishop did push-ups. What the hell, man? That's such a low bar. Like, we never see bishops do anything fun. They do their little stupid hand waving and, oh yeah, I came out to at the diocesan youth conference waving my hands. Aren't I fun? No, that's not fun. That's dumb. Guys, this is embarrassing. Not just to watch, but like, so out of touch with masculinity and manhood that seeing a bishop doing push-ups is some giant shock. What the hell? acting like this Yeti blood oath is some giant scandal. Nothing happened. It's a fun little thing that the seminarians next year would do the same thing, and the seminarians the year after that. It's just fun. I'm about to say a whole bunch of words I don't want to say on video because I try to make this, PG. But this is disgusting. Like, if my son ever said, "Hey, Dad, should I become a seminarian? Should I go?" I would say no, because they're going to do absolutely everything they can to kill your masculinity. Anytime you even think about doing anything fun or masculine or slightly dangerous, they're going to fire you for it. No, I'm keeping my son out of the priesthood. Unless it's some organization that's got balls. Unless he goes to become a chaplain for the fire department or something, or becomes a military chaplain. But no, I'm not sending him to be a priest if this is the kind of crap that's going on. And this kind of crap's been going on for so long that seeing a bishop doing push-ups is something that's so far out of the ordinary. It looks downright heroic. If you find yourself scandalized by this, oh my gosh, this shouldn't be done. We had a lot of red flags when we heard about what went on. Like, if you're scandalized by this, you don't understand the world of boys and men. Let's look at some of the comments. Jacob, were the 15 seminarians an entire class, or was it a selected group? Father Aaron, there was a cross-section of men from different classes. Nicole, even worse that it seems they were specially selected. My heart weeps over this. Karen alert. Commenter, look, we wanted them to do something other than goodbye good men, and this is something. In seriousness, anyone involved in planning the stunt should be removed from public ministry for 5 years. Seminarians who willingly went along have their ordinations delayed, and nobody involved should even sniff seminary formation or any role of prominence in the diocese. Are you serious? Next one, female. If the Yeti has volunteer clearances, I would revoke them and blacklist him from regaining them. It's creepy that he allegedly wants to do this with everyone he possibly can. Here's a man. I don't understand how the pillar didn't dive a little deeper there. Who is this guy? And what is his obsession with fake Yeti blood rituals? Why would this Catholic man incite a group of seminarians to do something so weird? We call that a mangina. He should be mentioned by name as much as Nepil is. Yes, at least give us the Yeti declined to comment and also put it on a t-shirt. Criminally underliked comment. I would also take one of those ubiquitous Sasquatch silhouettes with the phrase no comment underneath. Sounds like it's probably a donor for the seminary or archdiocese. Punish the officers, not the foot soldiers obeying orders and fearful of being put to a firing squad, meaning death under the plan of becoming a priest. Ordaining under the priesthood is not an entitlement. It's a vocation which requires certain base level of fitness that anyone involved in this clearly is nowhere near. Are you serious? Like, these are guys that we used to beat up at Boy Scout camp. These are the hall monitors. These are the guys that are so far out of touch with masculinity that they were the kiss ass of the teacher and wanted to wear the little vest because they were narcs. We really used to haze them in Boy Scouts because they were narcs. And that's necessary stuff. Either they're bullied too much or not enough. And some of these guys weren't bullied enough. Chalk my comment up to being sick and tired of clerical scandals, especially those with demonic overtones. The harm Nepal has done to these seminarians is incalculable. I believe dabbling in the occult has serious canonical penalties, but today's poorly catechized Catholics have no knowledge of these things. That's a dude. Like, demonic overtones? Serious canonical penalties? A buddy of mine texted me. He said, before I thought this was kind of dumb, but after reading the comments, I think we should have SEAL-level hazing involved in seminaries. I mean, this is disgusting. I'm ashamed of being in a group with you guys. That's awful. But I don't have a choice. The church is the church. And we haven't come to the place yet where men and masculinity and truth and goodness and strength and all of that has retaken the church. So for now, I just have to tolerate being in that group with a bunch of Karens who are never invited to have that kind of fun. Reading by the comment section, it sounds like we're a church of losers. That's it. Sounds like we're a church of losers. And, I forget who's that guy that, it's that new website. He's got a Substack. He just posted about this the other day, or about something to this effect of not being able to ask questions about Francis and about Leo the 14th and the other things, not being able to ask those questions. And we need to be asking those questions, but people are just saying, shut up, don't talk about it, you horrible schismatic. This is embarrassing. This is shameful. At some point, God willing, the pendulum's going to swing so flippin' hard. It's going to drive all the Karens out of the church like St. Patrick driving the snakes. It needs to. Because this is embarrassing. Demonic overtones. Get real. All right. Thanks for that episode. Thanks for watching this episode of the Base Marriage Podcast, for listening. This is kind of a pissed off version of a podcast episode, but here it is. I hope you have a great time. Please make sure, if you made it this far, to subscribe and like and all the rest. Y'all have a great day. God bless you. Bye-bye.